Hello, and welcome to another episode of Grit, a hockey podcast. My name is Dakota, and I am breaking away from big podcasting to create my own super podcasting league. Joining me in that league will be Jake.
Hey, I'm Jake. I'm pulled back from my mic about half an inch. Smile. I come to you from the land of curry and whiskey.
Also joining me will be Dylan.
Hey, I am joining you from the land of pizza.
And finally, we have Devin.
Hello, I'm joining you from the land of, checks notes, Food Lion brand Coke.
So as you can see, we've got quite a diverse representation in our new super podcasting league. I'm looking forward to it. So I guess getting the big news out of the way first, the Avalanche's season has been shut down till Thursday.
Wednesday, but
is-
they come back Thursday.
Oh, that's when their first game is? Or
Could be talking out of my ass, but the official date is Wednesday. Schedule.
Why was it closed down?
Who knows? In this season, it's definitely not like a big prevailing, like,
I don't know, man. Something else could have happened.
turns out that the Avalanche actually had their houses broken into, and it'll take the police some investigating to figure it out.
Yeah, the announced date is Wednesday, but the game's Thursday. I'd assume they say Wednesday so they could practice or something if they needed to. Morning skate.
Makes sense. I was just going off of when the next game was, so I guess that makes sense. So the season got shut down for the Avalanche until Wednesday because of COVID. We had more positive COVID tests on the team. Philip Gerbauer and Janis Donskoy join Bowen Byram on the COVID list.
Fuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say, fuck.
Yeah, that's a very not tight fact.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to say. So far, nobody else has caught it. It's been 2 days with no additional tests, but COVID can be finicky. Also, no Blues players have tested positive, so maybe they were responsible behind the scenes. Initially, I was very, don't play these games. Oh, you have another test? Then don't play this game. But I guess if it's only these three guys that come away with it and none of the Blues players, then they must have been fine.
Yeah. There were pictures earlier on in the season when there was a COVID scare for the Avalanche when their season got shut down for like 2 weeks of Donskoy in his house with like the full face shield on to like protect his family and stuff like that. So that guy strikes me as a very responsible person when it comes to spread.
You're missing half of that story.
Yeah.
His wife said he tested positive, or somebody tested positive. That he might have it too on that, so it was extra weird.
Yeah.
That whole thing was like super crazy. You think after that first outbreak they'd be much more careful this time around, right? So maybe they just did mitigate the spread by being responsible.
Yeah, and so what I was just trying to say is that Donskoy seems like he's a pretty responsible person, and since he's one of the positive tests that we know of,
you can't trust the finish.
Definitely not. Definitely not Mikko Rantanen either.
I like AJ's running joke that Finland doesn't exist. And I like imagining that Mikko Rantanen is really upset about this running joke.
He can't keep getting away with it.
Mikko Rantanen's been spending a lot of time hurting other people out of frustration. And the running joke has been them telling him that Finland is fake. And then he breaks his stick on their back.
A lot of broken sticks recently.
Like 3 a game. Just
Yeah.
for him. And then there's that gif of him just like looking amazedly at a stick after he scored.
Yeah, that was great. You stuck
Whoa.
together, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah, we just need gifs of that interchangeably with the Ovechkin jacking off gif. Just playing in the YouTube version of this over and over again on repeat.
I don't foresee any YouTube magic going on in this episode.
Oh, that won't be magic. You just put it in and Control-C, Control-V 100 times until the end, and we're good.
No.
This is mad science, not magic.
Well, I guess I'm off the pod. It's been a good run.
Sorry,
I'm gonna go start my own podcast.
I forgot to tell you that the Super Podcast League, the seats are permanent. So yeah, you're not allowed to leave.
Through your Super League. So I finally got the full story of that, by the way.
Yeah.
Sidney Crosby was always the last one off the ice. And Evgeny Malkin came in and was like, okay, I'm going to be the last one off the ice now. And Crosby was like, you were a rookie, though. And I've been in the league for a year. And Malkin was like, yeah, but I was 3-year Super League, so I've been pro longer than you have, so I get to go off the ice. And then Crosby was like, fair. I don't give a shit about the Penguins, but that's a very endearing story all around.
Yeah. Evgeny Malkin is pretty fucking funny. I thought you were talking about the fucking European Super League soccer bullshit that was going on, and I was like, whoa, unexpected expert in the house.
I was talking about it, but considering they have the same name, well, I mean, not now, they don't now, it's KHL, but before was Super League. Yeah, I don't know. That shit's funny. It brought it up when we were talking about the soccer thing.
So the only other Avalanche news that we have to cover before we get into the games themselves, the Avalanche last week, they traded for Devin Dubnyk and Patrick Nemeth.
And this week it's the return of the Cyclops.
Yes. This week it is the return of all one-eye Carl Soderberg himself. Used to play for the Avalanche a few years back. I've always been a fan of Carl Soderberg's. He's not necessarily a super exciting player, but he's just a good, solid dude who's probably going to be seeing some bottom or middle 6 minutes, depending on how they want to utilize him.
So what's the Food Lion brand Soderberg? Very great ideas, guys.
Can we keep the dead air?
Imagine being
Damn,
you
I
say
wasn't ready
you
for
were
that
muted,
one.
but the reality was. As far as I'm concerned, we're still going on this one. This is still in the show. Very good. It's a comedy podcast now.
It's funny how bad it is.
It's a comedy podcast, not because of Devin's jokes, but our reaction to them.
Oh, yes, but of course.
I mean, yeah, there's not much else to say about Soderberg, though. He has one eye, and plays hockey to a middling extent in the NHL.
Yeah. He's not a bad player. He's just not an amazing knock your socks off kind of player. All right, so the first game that we haven't covered that the Avalanche played, the Avalanche went to Anaheim. They played the Ducks, and they won 4-1.
Yay!
Kind of feel like every Ducks game is just super unremarkable.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, no, there was one particular thing about this game that I was very surprised by.
Okay.
Yeah.
Surprised for the wrong reason, but I was surprised about it.
Was it Graves scoring?
Yes, it was Graves scoring.
I believe that there's another thing that was remarkable about this game that you noted several times in a row in our shared notes.
You talking about Gibson?
Yes.
Jojo made the first shot. He made the save on the first shot of the game. Pog.
Did that the game before, too. He got that shutout.
I'm just saying, he's got some consistency now. Starting goaltender.
Yeah. I was going to say, Jojo looking pretty all right.
Listen, it's not too late to trade him, except it is.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's not only too late to trade him because the trade deadline is passed, but also because, he's still letting 3 fucking shots first against him each game. So I feel like after a couple good games, you still probably don't let that one off very easily.
I think that you just don't know what's up with him yet. Give him a little bit more opportunity.
Oh, I just mean for trading him. If we were like actually going to try and flip him, I think we get like a 7th.
Word from our ghostwriter says that was the luckiest goal ever. I agree. It bounced off of like 2 guys and went in, and I was in shock.
I don't agree. It was 100% calculated. Simple geometry.
Well, so what happened with that goal, that Ryan Graves goal, is that Ryan Graves did the thing that he normally does, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
he gets to the blue line, fires it from the point, it hits somebody in the leg, right? But see, normally what happens is it hits somebody in the leg, bounces out, and gives a breakaway to the other team. This time, it hit the leg, hit another leg, and then went in. So, I mean, it's really to be expected of him.
Just
Yeah,
the 2-leg coefficient.
So long as he keeps working on it, he'll figure out on how to bounce it off of, the post and into the actual net.
When
instead
he
of off the
finally
legs.
reaches his apex, he'll hit the leg on every single person on the other team, knock them all out for the game, and score.
Ryan Graves scoring is like algebra. If leg equals 1, it gives the other team a breakaway. If leg equals 2, we get a goal. We need to start testing out more legs on top of that.
A weapon to surpass Metal Gear.
I want to find like a programming language that just is very simple like that and call it Graves or something.
All of them are simple. Buy a book.
Yeah, so the Avalanche have a pretty convincing 4-1 win over the Ducks. Seemed like the top line did a whole lot of heavy lifting on that one, particularly on the power play.
You know who else did a bunch of heavy lifting? Delorier's fists.
Oh, that's right. He fought O'Brien in that one, huh?
Usually we think like, oh, good job. You put up your fight when we have a teammate that fights. But I do recall my man got destroyed.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Brought you up for one thing. You don't even do that good.
I can't wait for him to be out of the lineup so we can get some actual like bottom 6 people in there.
Trade out LOB for LOC.
I'm down for that.
Who apparently is fucking out long term, so,
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Fuck.
Yeah, I feel like we stopped worrying about the injury reports for a while because the injury report was the entire team. It was the full 21-man roster.
Yeah. It looks a lot like the Dallas Stars COVID protocol list at the beginning of the season.
Or the Canucks. Yeah, I mean, we should probably start paying attention to injuries again, right? For this, because before it was just like, yep, someone else is hurt. Fuck. Speaking of the Canucks, by the way, LOL at Toronto. The Canucks came back from a month-long COVID outbreak, are missing 8 of their key players, including their starting goaltender. We're down 2-0 to the Toronto Maple Leafs and came back and won in overtime. So everyone's laughing at Toronto right now because that's really fun to do.
Yeah, it really is. They're one of the best teams in the league right now, but that's kind of embarrassing.
I mean, it happened to them against the Senators and stuff too. I think there's a real conversation to be had about their ability to like play trash.
Yeah.
No, half of a corpse of a fucking Vancouver roster can't win the game. Ottawa Senators can't win the game. Yeah, Holtby was good tonight. Holtby did he had a windmill kick save. He had a fucking judo flip in the air that he kicked the puck away from. I need to find to find the replay for you. Exactly. Shaolin fucking soccer. I fully maintain Shaolin hockey would be an exceptional movie, but
yes, I know.
That would be fantastic.
But yeah, I need to find that clip for you after the pod because that shit is so tight.
I'm just imagining someone pulling a hockey stick from a sheath.
Oh.
Half of the hockey stick is a katana.
It's just a katana with a curve.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to get my dig in on Toronto there, though.
No, you're all good.
They're trash.
They are trying to compete with us for the top of the league, but when you play games like that,
It's like how Connor McDavid has a third of his points against the Senators.
oh yeah,
I think the Canadian media manufactured COVID in an effort to make the Canadian teams only play each other so that Connor McDavid could break a bunch of records because it wasn't going to happen otherwise.
yeah, it was like grown in a lab in the Toronto Star or something, you know.
Yeah, exactly. We've uncovered the true the true COVID conspiracy.
Jesus.
I'm sure there's an umbrella joke somewhere in there, but fuck.
So yeah, second game that happened last week was the Avalanche versus the Coyotes in Colorado.
These are always fun.
Always fun. Last game of them, right? We don't see them for the rest of the year.
Yep, we don't see them for the rest of the year until the playoffs if they make it, which, LOL.
We'll see.
I remember this game feeling especially weird for some reason.
Well, so the reason for that is that the Coyotes scored that goal early that wasn't actually a goal, and they were like showing a billion angles, and the only angle that I thought maybe it went in turned out it was a dude's skate anyway. So like they review the video, they call it a goal, and then they go and review it again, and they're like, wait, it was goalie interference. So I'm like, that's not how any of that works, but fine, they don't get the goal. And that
Well,
took,
it's because
like,
they
half an hour.
rewatched it and saw fucking that the puck just didn't cross the line, and they were like, "Oh fuck, oh good fuck, we have to fix this." Somehow missed it in the first review, but that second review really sent it home. I think maybe the first review they were like, "All right, maybe they don't notice, maybe they'll just take it and call it good." And then once we challenged it, they were like, "Ugh, God damn it." I call it bullshit goalie interference, even though there wasn't any to fucking take this back.
Yeah. That was weird. It just felt like that game dragged on. It wasn't like the most boring game of hockey I've ever seen, but all of us were like, good fuck, it's only the second period.
Well, and it was just a situation where the Yotes are anger time.
Yeah.
They just like try to hurt us because they can't beat us.
Mm-hmm.
They can't beat us, so they try and beat us. Easy strats. Mad cause bad.
So yeah, you were saying, Dylan? Not Dylan, Devin. Too many D's.
No, I was just
These nuts.
what was I saying? I was just saying this game felt really weird. And it felt extremely long, and that was definitely because of the goal shenanigans during the first period. Yeah, it was just a very, very strange game.
Yotes kind of outplayed us. Like, I don't know. It was a weird one.
Yeah, that
And they
game,
almost came back.
We had a game earlier on in the year where we played the Coyotes and we had like insane numbers, and they ended up winning off of like 3 deflections off of Avs players, and we only scored like 1 goal or something. And it's like, man, really feels like the Avalanche should have won that game, but they didn't because, puck luck. And
Yep.
this was that game, but like flipped. The Coyotes like looked like they should have won that game, and the Avs were just like, puck luck, ha.
I mean, you say that, but also like all of the goals except for one were just like pure unadulterated filth.
Yeah,
I think one was a spooky bounce, but
the puck luck goes both ways, right? Where puck luck doesn't just mean you get good bounces, but the Coyotes were just getting a lot of bad bounces.
No, I know. I'm just saying, you said it was the inverse of that other game, but we didn't score goals, all of our goals off of the defending team.
Sure.
McKinnon and Mikko and Makar and all those dudes, all of our big boys were just like, let's go.
Our top boys were putting in the work.
And some bottom boys even. Not as much, but our tops and our bottoms were going hard.
As they are wont to do. But yeah, those first 2 games, the top line proved that like, hey, we're elite and we're just gonna win games that maybe our team shouldn't win. So that feels good. The last game. Oh, that was also sorry, Devin Dubnik's first game, right? Or did they get Grubauer in for that one?
Dubnik was for the Blues.
Okay. Yeah, Grubauer did
Yes,
play the
Dubnik
Coyotes
was
one.
for Blues. Yeah.
Okay. I forgot because I knew that we kind of expected them to play Dubnik during that Ducks game, but because JoJo got the shutout, they played him again. And that kind of threw off what I was expecting to happen with the goaltending situation. So Grubauer played that Coyotes game, and then Dubnik played the Blues game that they played uh the next game, that next Wednesday. The Avalanche win that one 4-3. So they once again have a nice little 4-game win streak going.
So I have a thought.
Mhm. All right.
Think it was a really good move to play JoJo again after his shutout, especially since Grubauer got COVID. I feel like the confidence for JoJo, because he was just gonna get sent down, right? Like it was just like a fuck you kind of thing. But they, instead of saying fuck you, they played him again to reward him. And now that they did that, I feel like if he plays another game while Grubauer's out, he's just in a better spot. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Grubauer's out for 2 weeks no matter what. You know, he's going to be out for a week and a half after we're back.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the way they handled JoJo from like a human perspective probably just makes him like feel better, and hopefully leads to him playing better if we need to play him. Because the 2 wins he got were good wins. He looked a little shaky, but he wasn't like. I'm not sorry. Yeah, those like the shutout obviously was good, and then the Ducks game after, right? It was just like it was both good.
Yeah.
He did a good job.
My boy did his job.
After us relentlessly shitting on him forever, seeing him have some confidence and play some good games is the good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that they rewarded him instead of just trading for someone and sending him down, I feel like probably only does good things for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
a random
agree.
thought, but I don't know.
No,
I feel like
I got you. I want to see more JoJo.
I really just want to make more JoJo memes.
Yeah, me too.
And not bad JoJo memes about him sucking. I want to make good JoJo memes. I want my man to succeed. Seems like a nice guy too.
We want the JoJo no to JoJo yes ratio to be very low.
yes.
So the last game that we got to cover was that Blues 4-3 win for the Avalanche. And that one was a little rough, boys.
Well, yeah. A little. I feel like it didn't get especially bad until after that that weird goal that they got on us.
Yeah.
And then after that point they just had momentum, right?
Yeah, they kind of flipped the puck over the net, hit Dubnik in the shoulder, and then went in.
Yeah, from behind the net.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, that one sucked. I mean, well, word on the street was that we were reeling from the vaccination, having some adverse fatigue and other effects from it. So I was expecting us to lose this game, to be honest.
Yeah, I went into this one with no expectations.
Yeah, but Dubnik did a good job.
Yeah, Dubnik did a good job, and the team, though they were outplayed a lot, I mean, you have to find a way to win these shitty, garbage-ass hockey games, right?
Yeah.
The ability to win while also playing like shit is a skill to be honed. And the Avs had the first half of the season to really work that one in. So while we were studying the blade, they were studying how to fucking win hockey games that were playing badly in.
All right.
Well, during this awkward silence, you should watch that clip I posted.
Dude, he got the poke on it and then windmill fucking judoed it out. Hell yeah.
Yo, that
I-
is so tight.
I fucking love Dominic Hasek.
Shaolin hockey.
I love that a lot, actually. I'm very happy this exists.
There's a world in which Braden Holtby was a Colorado Avalanche goaltender.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird.
The team he came from, we like to pluck goalies from. It's often joked that the Washington Capitals, hailing from Washington,
What?
are the Avalanche goalie farm.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were needing a backup goalie, and he was available, and we like to take goalies from that team and then succeed with them. Grubauer is actually from that team.
Yeah.
As was our
really?
previous goalie, Varlamov.
Yep. We like
So
to
yeah,
steal
we have a
goalies
lot of
from them.
success with Washington Capital goalies. Like I said, hailing from Washington. So I don't know. Holtby totally could have been an Avalanche. Something that you won't notice ever until you start paying attention to other teams in the league, which we will force you to do, is that the Avalanche really love goaltenders from the Washington Capitals and any player from the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Oh, yeah?
Fair enough.
I don't know if it's on purpose, but we always have a Blue Jackets connection, and we always have a goalie from Washington for like 15 years.
They breed good goalies.
Yeah,
Like-
and then Calvert is from
Yeah.
Calvert's from Columbus. We've had other Columbus players.
Oh,
But-
okay.
Avalanche legend Feder Tootin, which is sure to make the fifth member of this cast angry just hearing his name.
I forgot about Tootin. And darn Tootin, he fucking sucked at hockey, bro.
I still love during that shit season where everything was awful, how the best thing that they could think to do was talk to Feder Tootin's neighbors from when he lived in Ohio when he was on the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Oh yeah.
They're just like, "Yo, you used to be neighbors with them. What's up?" And they're like, "Well, he was gone all the time because he's a professional athlete."
So we never really interacted with him. And
I'm
then
like-
they aired it. They put it on TV.
Yes. I'm like, man, this is more awkward than the fucking Avalanche, boys. Fuck.
What do you guys think about Tootin? We don't really have any opinions. Great, we're putting this on the broadcast.
He was quiet. He didn't make a lot of noise because he was always gone. Very cool. So the only other thing of note for that Blues game that I have written down is that it was the depth that really got the job done in that one.
One of 4 things he wrote in depth
Hell yeah.
notes.
That's when we decided that we were going to go with this new format where it was like, well, we don't need to really care about the specifics. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, it was what we said it was, right? Depth got some good shit. People looked tired from the vaccine. Dubnyk was tight. And I definitely did not spend the last 100 years hating Dubnyk and saying a bunch of bad things and wishing bad things upon him.
I hate how much I love Dubnyk now.
I definitely did not at any time ever want Chris Kreider to like do his goalie special and fucking yeet into Dubnyk or anything like that. That definitely never happened. There was never any time where I wished anything ill upon that man. I've always been a huge Devin Dubnyk fan.
Yeah, the last episode I had mentioned that I was weary about this Devin guy with the weird spelling. He's all right.
As far as I'm concerned, based on that game, he has the correct spelling of Devin.
This may mean war.
Are
It's
you about
fighting
to
words.
get into a intense legal battle over who needs to change their name, Devin?
Are you going to leave and form your own league?
Devin
League
tier
of
list.
Devin?
Devin tier list. 1, Devin. 2, Devon. 3, you.
Bruh.
Oh,
You put the O above the I, bruh? Oh my god. I'll prepare my noose with 2 O's.
Yeah, I just think it's time to accept that you have the inferior spelling.
And like, make no mistake, he wasn't like an awesome shutout goalie during that game. He let in 3 goals, which, you know, that is completely fine. Um, he, if there's one thing I can critique about him, I don't like how lackadaisical he gets back to the post when he's like out of the net and needs to go back in. He just like leaves a huge fucking gap like
Yeah,
between
when
the
they bounce
post.
pucks off the boards, which they were trying to do because they saw that he was like this,
Yeah.
he just didn't like rush to cover the post.
Yeah.
And I feel like one day we're gonna see that play happen, and someone's gonna score on it, and then it's gonna be a real big issue.
Well, so I was sitting there and I was like, oh, he's going to get burned on this because if I notice it, then these professional hockey men definitely notice it, right?
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
And sure enough, not long after I was, kind of thinking to myself that this could be a problem, that like weird wacky goal went in, right? Where they just kind of like got it over his shoulder. And I'm like, yes, that is exactly why he can't
Well, and
be
I
doing
actually think he
this.
played that one okay. Unfortunately, he got like 90% of it.
Yeah.
It just trickled in. I just feel like somebody's gonna bounce it off the boards right in front of him and smack it in because he just decides to not freak out. And on one hand, he decides to not freak out, which is cool. But like you said, if we're sitting here noticing it, then you know that like the video coach is sitting there with his mouth watering.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Much less the actual players on the ice who were like, okay, let's see if we can do this. But I don't know. I feel like he got way better as the game went on.
Yeah. He definitely put my mind at ease for the most part about the backup spot. I don't know that he's like the future of backup goaltending in Colorado or anything like that, right? But I think that he's a solid addition to a good team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think if he's our guy through the entire playoffs, I don't know if I'm super comfortable. But if he's our Grubauer rest man,
Yeah.
I think he just pulls some wins out of his ass. Like all you want from your backup goalie is for him to make the saves he's supposed to, and some that he won't. Like some that he's not supposed to, right?
Yeah.
That was the issue with Miska, is he'd make some of the saves he was supposed to. A lot of the ones he would miss that he was supposed to save. And he almost never made like a big, like, what the fuck save. Because Dubnyk in that third period saved the game.
Yeah.
He went Space Ghost post to post and fucking stopped a great chance.
Yeah. He did have a couple of really good moments in that game.
I do think that one specific, like I said, is like the defining, who literally kept us from having them tie the game. That was the reason you get an experienced goaltender, right? Is so they make one or two of those a game.
Yeah. And it's the kind of save that JoJo and Miska probably would not have made.
Yeah, and JoJo's shown when he's confident he might pull it off, but that's the kind of reason you trade Miska away.
Yeah.
And the confidence thing is the reason you get JoJo as the third instead of the second, so it works out.
If there is one thing that Devin Dubnyk has, it's confidence and like a sense of self-worth.
Yeah.
He might have a little bit of an inflated ego sometimes, but like whatever.
Now I will say I want him off the team. Because he didn't do the thing I wanted him to do, which is fight Jordan Bennington.
Oh.
I was really disappointed. I was ready to see a goalie fight. Also, something we didn't mention in that fucking Coyotes game, Grubauer fucking almost fought, didn't he? Is that what I'm remembering correctly? The goalie came in and was trying to fuck with somebody, and Grubauer skated up the ice. And he was at like center ice doing the goalie stare down thing. Or was that a different goalie? It was in an Avalanche game because everybody was like, "Don't fight! You're gonna get injured. It's gonna fuck our playoffs up." But I guess it could have been JoJo. It was Grubauer or JoJo. I think it was Grubauer on the Yotes game though.
Grubauer was on the Coyotes game. I vaguely remember this happened, but it feels to me like some sort of fever dream. Like this definitely happened, but I can't remember if it was that game or not.
Yeah, nothing happened, but it was the Yotes game. Yeah, Grubauer skated to center ice, and I was sitting there like, we need this. We need the goalie fight. My favorite optic in hockey is a goalie skating to center ice and just staring at the other goalie like, are we gonna do this, bitch?
Yeah.
I remember it was not the Yotes, it was the Minnesota game because it was what's his name? The guy who fought Mike Smith last year.
Talbot. Oh, it was Talbot.
It was Talbot. It was
Oh,
Talbot
you're right.
fucking with someone. Grubauer got to center ice and nothing.
listen, the stuff doesn't even need to happen. It can just get close to happening, and I'm good.
Yeah, that's right.
I like when the goalie fight goes, but I'm also okay when the goalie fight edges.
Well, because we were making fun of Talbot because he fought Smith, and we were making fun of how, like, in that fight there was one goalie that was just trying to body the other goalie, and it's like, he's wearing Kevlar, dude. So yeah, that was an impressively long rant / talk. After I was like, I only have one thing here. Jake really hooking us up on this one.
That's right.
Listen, I've been imbibed with the old smoke wagon. I've bought out a bottle of some fine whiskey.
Yeah.
Like, it wet the wheel a little bit.
I feel you.
Someone's got to.
Yeah. So that was the last Avalanche game that we haven't covered yet. Next week we're only going to have 2 games by the time we record, so probably not a whole lot of depth there. So next week is probably going to be a little bit more general. If
Hopefully
like,
we have
enough
2
stuff.
games, I'd say.
Oh, fair enough. That's a fair enough assertion.
Because it was 4 days between one test and another, so we'll definitely have to see it. We're not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, so I guess the situation will just kind of develop on its own. Hopefully it goes well. Might not. So let's start the NHL wide news with some notable trade deadline stuff. This isn't going to be like every trade. It's just the ones that we took particular note of. And the biggest one was Taylor Hall going to Boston.
Devin, what do you think about Taylor Hall going to Boston?
Interesting.
What about you, Dylan?
Yeah. I think I agree with Devin.
Give me a little bit more analysis.
Well, their name is Taylor, and they're going to Boston. I don't know who that person is, nor do I know the wider state of the league to give you any sort of.
What is the team in Boston
wow.
called?
I feel like I know this actually. Fuck.
Can this be a recurring segment?
No, for God's sake, please.
Hockey trivia with the 2 Ds.
You'll never enjoy 2 dudes saying for 30 minutes more.
It's like those videos of like mothers trying to say the Smash roster.
That's exactly what it is.
That video of that grandma trying to guess the name of Pokemon and goes to
I was
Charmander.
gonna
It's
say,
like,
what's the
Hamilton.
Pokemon's name? It is the Bruins.
Fuck, of course it is.
The Boston Bruins.
Bruins.
Bruins. Bruins. I mean, we just saw a video with Stewie, so, the pronunciation makes sense there.
So yeah, Taylor Hall was the big name that everybody was looking at because the Buffalo Sabres are bad. And people were wondering what they were going to do with Taylor Hall, their best player that was available. Won the MVP a couple years ago instead of Nathan McKinnon for no reason other than, East Coast bias.
Yep, East Coast bias.
So obviously, the former MVP is going to get turn a lot of eyes, right? Buffalo wasn't even able to get a first-round pick for this guy.
Yeah, they got nothing. They got a second-round pick and a mediocre, comfort tier player. And yikes.
Yeah, it's weird because I can see how people after Taylor Hall's stint in Arizona and how he was doing this here in Buffalo, how they might not be fully sold on how good he is. But
do you not actually know why they got such a little return for him?
Is there a story about this that I didn't see?
He wouldn't waive his no trade for anywhere but Boston.
Oh, okay. Wow, what a dick move.
And in fact, I mean, it's their fault for giving him a full no trade clause.
Yeah.
In fact, they weren't even going to trade him because Boston was only offering a third, and then Boston got dummied and upped it to a second. After they got this like ruined. I don't even remember who they played. Caps maybe. Yeah, so that's why the return was so bad.
Okay, I
But-
did not actually know that.
If the return was that low and I was a GM, I would just spite Taylor Hall and make him stay in Buffalo for the rest of the season. Enjoy, bitch.
Yeah, right.
So my real question is, why the fuck would you give a guy that you're only keeping for 1 year a fucking no trade clause?
That's a fair question.
Whoever you are.
Audience stand-in.
I've offered you a position on the podcast many times.
I may take it in like a year, but holy fuck balls, whoever gave that guy their fucking GM is a moron. You don't give a guy that you know you're not going to be keeping for 1 year a no trade fucking clause.
Okay, but they thought that they were going to keep him, right? Like, you take a look at Jack Eichel and Taylor Hall on a line together, and they thought they were going to be more legit than they actually were.
You take them and look at their points combined right now, and you just say that was a fucking mistake.
Oh, yeah, definitely, but they didn't know that at the time.
Yeah, so the funny thing is that a bunch of Avs fans were like, there's no way we get Taylor Hall. Fuck this, fuck that. No Taylor Hall. He's gonna suck. And then I was like, he's gonna be point per game in Boston, just you wait. And everyone's like, there's no fucking chance. And 3-4 games later, he's 2 points per game. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Though it's not like that wasn't predictable from anyone who knows hockey.
Yeah, I'm not like saying that I didn't want the guy, but I'm most definitely sitting here going like, wow, like no wonder why we didn't get him because he had a no fucking trade clause.
Yeah. It's I don't know. There was discourse about like Taylor Hall doesn't score that many goals. How valuable can he be? Blah 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 blah. But like he's a playmaker. He passes. He gets you
Yeah.
points. They don't ask how, they ask how many, right? Like that's
Well,
the
and
cliche.
he's scoring goals now too, right? So it's
Yeah.
just like, well,
And like the people that would poo-poo him for not being able to score goals, like I think that I would be perfectly fine with having somebody on my team that gets me 60 assists a year and exactly 0 goals. Like, am I going to complain about that? No, not a fucking
Just to
chance, right?
just to firmly place the puck on McKinnon's stick.
Yeah, like you won't find me complaining about a dude who has 60 points and 0 of them are goals. Like the dude has 60 fucking points. So I always thought that that was weird because that was a huge like sticking point in like the talks about what they were going to do. So yeah, I mean, I was a little weirded out by the low return, but now that that information has come to light, it makes a lot of sense. When you give a person a no trade clause, the worry is that that no trade clause is going to fuck you later. And it did.
But you know what? Like, the trade got made like 16 hours before the trade deadline was over. I don't know why you just give it. I don't know why you just give it to him so early. Make him sweat a little bit, right? Pull him back and be like, "Yo, listen, we might just not trade you if this is how you're gonna be. Even if you are gonna trade him, just like try. You know, I don't know why you're just like, fuck it, fine, you're gone." I would make him sweat a bit.
Yeah, I think that you probably want to play a little bit more hardball than they did. And the Bruins is a weird one to be sticking your hat on. Like I won't go anywhere but the Bruins is kind of a weird call to make.
I mean, that was his team growing up.
Okay.
Oh, is he a Bruins fan?
Yeah, there's tweets from like 30 years ago of him talking about how much he likes the Bruins.
Okay, well then that makes sense. But still, I'm sitting here going like,
Yeah, me
fucking,
too.
their GM is so bad.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just I feel like I get it. You want to live the fucking dream and play for your team. Go get it, dude. Um, so I guess I can't really fault him for that.
Well, apparently he was going to sign there in the off season as well, but
Oh,
they didn't make it work because they said they would sign him, but they needed to get rid of people first, and they were just taking too long. So he signed in Buffalo.
oh, I see.
So he was even trying to go to Boston. Then
See, if Boston got him earlier, that would have been a probably a #1 team in the East, even with their fucked up defense.
Yeah, it's weird. Um, Another big one was Palmieri to the Islanders. That was somebody that the Avalanche were allegedly looking at.
yeah, I mean he would have been fine.
Yeah.
Based on the price they paid, I mean we were in on everybody, Foligno, Palmieri, but all those guys are kind of small fish compared to a Hall trade, right? Like it's all just like, oh yeah, mid tier fucking guys who just like bring some toughness. I would have liked him, but like paying firsts, and in some cases a first plus for him. Seems like we got away okay with fucking Nemeth and Soda and Dube.
Yeah, I think we got better, even if it was just like marginally, right?
Marginal in the right ways, I'd say. You know,
Yeah. That isn't to like disparage the moves or anything like that, right? Because I do think
you're clearly being overcritical of the team. I can't believe your overreactions. Jesus.
Listen, the Avalanche absolutely needed a more solidified backup goalie. They absolutely needed a 6/7th defenseman in Patrick Nemeth. And I'm not going to complain about getting a little bit more deep on the bottom six, right? Like, I'm totally fine with all of that. I think the moves all make sense. They didn't pay an arm and a leg. They're not mortgaging the future to win now, which they could have done and probably been justified in doing. But they're in a position to win now still, and they're setting themselves up to be in a position to win for many years in the future. The window on this team is not going to be closing anytime soon.
Yep. I don't know. Part of me feels like this is like the strongest year. Obviously, if like our prospects pan out, that changes the conversation. But
yeah,
you know, you can only really hope on that front. I feel like this is the big like thing, and I would have been okay with a little more of a splash. Like
yeah.
you know, the Ducks didn't move Raquel or anybody. I don't know what the fuck's up with that. But that was the move I was really pining for, like Mangiapane from the Flames or Raquel
Yeah.
from the Ducks.
Speaking of the Ducks, the other one that kind of caught my eye, that I didn't understand at the time, but then once it was explained to me, I was like, oh, I guess that makes sense. Still sucks, but makes sense. The Ducks traded with Carolina. Carolina traded away Hayden Fleury and got Yanni Hakanpää in a 6th. And I was like, I thought Fleury was like perfectly serviceable. Totally fine. Probably
that's Marc Andre.
Probably not like an all-star or anything, but probably a good solid like addition to your blue line, right? But then I heard that it was like, hey, they weren't going to be able to protect all their defensemen when the expansion draft happens, so they needed to like get something for him. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Fuck.
Yeah.
I keep on forgetting that the Kraken are a fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like kind of awful timing with all the COVID and stuff.
Yeah.
The expansion draft mixed with everything else is just like,
yeah, there's just so much going on like all the time that like sometimes it's like, oh yeah, there's gonna be an extra team next year. Fuck. That really changes things.
I was really excited to cheer for Vegas, and then they were the way they were. So I hope that doesn't happen to Seattle. I want to like Seattle.
I would argue that in years that the Vegas Golden Knights are not in a division with us, I like them.
Nope.
But definitely not this year.
Nope. No years. I hate them.
So, as it relates to the Avalanche, the West was very stagnant during the trade deadline. Vegas didn't really pick up much during the trade deadline. I think Janmark was their big one that they got, and he's just like, fine.
Excuse me, sir. Put some respect on Matthias Janmark's name.
Janmark, gotcha. So yeah, they got
Yeah, he
Janmark.
exists as a player.
I don't think he like puts them over the edge or anything. I would argue
Nope.
that the Avalanche got better to a more significant degree from the trades that they made than Vegas did.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas really just lacks any like real dangerous pieces up front, you know?
Yeah.
At least from an offensive end. They have guys like, it's kind of still like win by committee on their team, but I don't know. I feel like they need like a really solid 1C and they just kind of don't. What is it? Chandler Stevenson is fucking. Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah. The Wild got kind of better around the fringes too this year. They didn't go all in. They understand that this could be a flash in the pan. So they didn't want to do any future mortgaging either. So they didn't really go all in.
They didn't make any
which
moves,
is smart.
right?
Did they not make any moves? I thought they picked
Them and the
somebody
Blues
up.
made no moves.
Okay.
Yeah, them and the Blues made no moves, which I think is a real tell for how they feel about their matchup versus the Avs in Vegas.
Yeah.
Insofar that they didn't want to try.
They got a little bit better. They traded Greg Patterson for Ian Cole.
That's a side grade.
We miss you, Greg.
Yeah. Sarah McLaughlin, I will remember you, Greg Patterson. All 20 minutes of ice time you played for us.
I mean, so yeah. I think that the Avalanche, before the break, they were the best team in the West for sure. Arguably in the league.
It's not arguable. The standings and the hockey guys' power rankings all have us at number one.
As we all know, the hockey guy on YouTube, his power rankings are the definitive look.
When paired with the standings, yeah, let's go. And NHL.com's official, just hand us the cup now. It definitely works that way. The Lightning 2 years ago, nope. That didn't happen.
I mean, so yeah, so the point is that at the trade deadline, I think nothing changes. I think the Avalanche are still the best team in the West, best in the league, probably. And that's exciting. We definitely talked the fuck up out of this Avalanche team, and it feels good not to be wrong about that.
Yeah, it was a rough chunk of season for a little bit. We were getting wins, but they weren't sexy. And then all of a sudden, it was a 15-game win streak. And now we're on another 4-game win streak, so, you know.
So speaking of, like, the best in the league, President's Trophy. We mentioned that that award goes to the team with the best record in the league at the end of the season. And so far, the competition for that number one in the league is pretty interesting, actually. For a while,
No, it's not. It's just the Avs.
Well, for a while, it was really like Toronto, Carolina, and Florida pushing, right? Like those were the teams that were trying to take the Avs spot. And right now, the top four are Colorado, Vegas, Carolina, and Washington. They're all within 2 points of each other. And the Avalanche have a bunch of games in hand, so.
Yeah, none of the fucking COVID breaks happening.
Yeah, so the Avalanche are doing really good to be holding off teams of that caliber and like not play as many games as these other teams have. It's very promising, actually, and I'm excited to see how that ends up going. I think that as time goes on, especially with this COVID break, I would like to expose the two of you, Dylan and Devin, to more out of division hockey. Not even to like a degree where you guys need to like recognize names or understand what is going on or anything, but just like here's a team you haven't seen before playing another team you haven't seen before. More hockey.
Yes.
That sounds like something I can get into. If we got into cornhole, I can get into two people I've never seen playing hockey.
Dude, that was a great fucking night.
It was fantastic.
That was legendary.
I'm actually interested in maybe watching some Hurricane games.
That's a good one. I definitely advise that. They're your local team, so like that's a team that you could see in person if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Once you get fucking vaccinated, of course.
But of course. Just waiting for the second shot.
Yeah.
Which should be next week. So.
Hell yeah.
I got the natural shot. COVID.
If I remember correctly, you should need a shot still, right?
Yep, 90 days. I have to wait.
We actually got ours scheduled for Wednesday, so Wednesday is when I'm getting my first one. That'll be sick.
Cool.
I don't know if I told you this, but I was talking to my mom about getting a new computer, and I was like, "Yeah, I just can't right now because there's no parts. There's just kind of a worldwide chip shortage." And my mom was like, "Oh yeah, because of the vaccine."
That's why.
So my question to you is, was she incredibly funny on purpose or by accident?
It was a joke.
Okay.
It was the only funny thing she's ever said. But
Oh, I was 100% believing that she would say that. 100% believing it.
well, because I have heard some horror stories about your mom and technology, so
yeah, being in IT and having this home situation, I divert all my IT duties to Mariah. I have the degree, Mariah. Go help my mom with the computer. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I want to get vaccinated, but now I just have to wait. It's tight.
yeah. I mean, well, luckily you'll be able to wait out all the adverse side effects that the shadowy cabal that runs this planet has put into the vaccine. You'll know when we all fall over dead that you shouldn't do it.
The Patriots.
Who are the Patriots?
Hello. Yeah.
Nano machine, son.
Damn, I wish I was a vampire. So now that we've isolated every single one of our listeners, let's talk about Colby Cave, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I feel for the NHL a little more after reading about it, but it's still not a great look.
Yeah. Yeah. So for people who don't know the Colby Cave situation, Colby Cave was a hockey player for the Edmonton Oilers who passed away last year due to brain bleed. And as we all know, shit sucked last year. COVID came in, funerals were not allowed to be had. So about a week ago, they held a funeral for Colby Cave, his family, and his teammates on the Edmonton Oilers. Now, this funeral was originally scheduled to be during a week that the Edmonton Oilers had off, but because of COVID scheduling, stuff changed, and they ended up scheduling a game for later that night. So the Edmonton Oilers had to go to a funeral for their teammate, be around his grieving family, and then go play an NHL hockey game.
I believe I read they didn't get to go to the funeral.
Did they not?
I believe that is what I read.
I believe that the
Huh.
quote from Connor McDavid had something to do with being around his grieving family and then going to have to go play a hockey game. So I was under the impression that they went.
I was about to say, I remember hearing that they did
Shut up,
go,
audience.
and then
Are you Googling?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm curious.
Just wanted to make sure.
since this silence gonna be I'm gonna fill the silence. I remember hearing from another podcast saying they did go to the funeral and then immediately play a game that night, and no one was down for it.
Okay, yeah, there was other service stuff that they wanted to do. That's what I was thinking of.
That they didn't get to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they
Uh.
went to a friend's funeral and then played a hockey game. There was a little bit of backlash towards the NHL for doing this because it's kind of like cruel, right? But I guess like in their defense, they did try to make it like a night about him, more than a night about hockey. I don't know how to feel about this one. I understand that the NHL has to do what they have to do, but
Yeah, the fact that they had 7 days off after that is pretty shitty.
oh, did they actually just get that week off like
Yeah.
later?
Yeah.
Jesus.
The defense was that the league under the CBA is not allowed to fuck with that week. But I feel like you probably could find a way to make that one work out.
Yeah.
It's not like they had like a year to plan this.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of didn't.
Well, not a full year because they didn't understand what was going to happen with COVID and everything.
Yeah.
Still, it's ugh. That's my reaction to that. Ugh.
Yeah. Sports leagues and caring about their players. It's something that goes hand in hand.
Yeah. And to add further context to the story, the Oilers got fucking housed during that game by a bad team. So.
Yep.
Um.
Well, now that we're all sad, later.
You can
End
find
of podcast.
you can find the show at Grit Hockey Cast. But yeah, that sucks. People shouldn't have to go through that. The NHL has been dropping the ball recently. And it's been very frustrating. And in another instance of that, the Vancouver Canucks. Talked about them last week. They had a huge COVID scare. The entire team got it. People were not doing good. It was really kicking their ass, and it was really kicking the asses of some of their spouses.
Yeah, but Horvat's wife apparently had it rough. Quinn Hughes was apparently the one who had the IV.
Yeah, unfortunately. That fucking sucks. The NHL scheduled the Canucks to play kind of a frantic schedule once most of the team cleared COVID protocol. And Vancouver Canucks player JT Miller in an interview basically called the league out. And they were like, this is bullshit. There are people who still can't even catch their breath during like practices and stuff. Like, we're in no condition to play these games. And
then they won the game, and I'm sure you can imagine what Twitter was like after that.
Oh, yeah. Jesus, I hadn't even considered that.
Split right down the middle between, man, good for them. It's a good story that they came back from adversity and won, and I guess they weren't that bad off, huh? So. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and it's stupid because, like, they were scheduled to play, like, 15 games in 31 days. And then
they had a meeting to extend their schedule, and
yeah, and
it's 18 and 32.
it was 18 games in 32 days. Yeah, so it was 18 games in 31 days. They had a meeting. It's like, all right, best we can do is 18 and 32. Fucking heroes at the NHL, guys.
I mean, I'm not going to say I feel for this one, but the reasoning is they don't want to interfere with the Olympics. So they're pushing it up to their worst case scenario last date to play regular season hockey. To make the playoffs go off without a hitch and actually make it so that the Olympics don't interfere with the NHL playoffs.
It's the summer games that they're broadcasting, right?
I mean, yeah, what else?
So my point is that they'd be running into broadcasting issues, not like actual player issues, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for one, nobody would watch the playoffs if the Olympics were on, and two, both are broadcast by NBC, so.
Yeah.
And, you know, all of like the Sportsnet and Rogers and all those fucking, you know.
Listen, they put a fucking NHL playoff game on the Golf Channel. I'm sure they could figure something out.
Yeah, but they really don't want to do that. So, I mean, I guess I get it, but I don't know. I feel like the Olympics happening seems dubious, but I guess you can't account for that.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't pay attention to the episode names when the whole Pierre-Luc Dubois stuff was happening. Did you take my title suggestion?
I don't believe I
forget.
did.
Pierre-Luc Dubious.
No. I did not use that one.
That's golden, dude.
I think I used Miska S for that one.
Oh, yeah, that's a step down from what I said.
No, hold on. That would have been the one before that. I think we used It's Bow Time for that one.
Oh, okay. I still like mine better. Both are mine, but I like mine better.
So yeah. Go Nucks, I guess.
No. Like 3 hours ago, yeah, but now, no.
You had your moment. The final bit of news that I want to talk about is the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Okay. Let me get some popcorn real quick. I'm gonna sit back for this one.
So yeah, we talked about how the Tampa Bay Lightning were up against the cap. They had to do some like 4D chess moves to make some trades, and they were put under scrutiny by many people for putting Nikita Kucherov on LTIR for what appeared to be an injury that didn't need it, so that they could save more cap money.
Devin, what does LTIR stand for? Insert Jeopardy music here.
Not even a guess.
I think he's gone. I think he died on us. I think he heard the question and was like, oh, hell no.
So LTIR is long-term injured reserve.
Mm-hmm.
And basically just means this person is injured and they will not be with the team for a set amount of days, right? I think it has to be at least 10 to 14 days that they have to be out, or maybe even more.
LTIR is longer than that, I believe.
Is longer than that? Okay. So yeah, so there's a certain number of days they can't do anything with the team. But their salary does not go against the cap.
Oh, my apologies. It's 10 games and 24 days.
Okay, 10 games, 24 days. That's where I was tripped up, I think. So yeah, there was scrutiny about them doing this because people thought that they were just trying to get around the salary cap in order to make a big push in the playoffs, because in the playoffs, there is no salary cap. So they could just play all of their best players and have it not matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were some, particularly Lightning fans, that were of the opinion that this was a completely legit move, and dude got surgery. He's just not going to be ready to the playoffs. Why is everybody making such a big deal about it? So, the Tampa Bay Lightning captain, Steven Stamkos, got injured this week. He takes a huge portion of that salary cap. And as soon as Stamkos got injured, Kucherov came back in.
He's not Beckin, but he practiced in a no contact jersey, and then they were like, "Oh, he just didn't want to wear the red. He's still out." Well, we just put him in the no contact jersey because he didn't want to wear the red. That's the reason.
Yep. So it looks like Nikita Kucherov is going to have a miraculous recovery sometime soon. And the Lightning are just going to scam the system.
That was their actual excuse too. I'm not joking.
No, yeah, I believe you. You're not going to admit that you're cheating the system when you're cheating the system, right?
I mean, they're not cheating the system. It's a little fucky, but it's not like it's blocked from happening, right?
Yeah.
The GMs and the league are aware of the ability for this to happen and have allowed it to proceed as such. So as much as we want to sit here and think it's an issue, they clearly don't. So I guess we just have to get used to it.
Yep. Yeah, they are technically not doing anything wrong. Like I said last time we brought this up. But I do think that it sets a bad precedent, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it change as soon as the league has the opportunity to do that. Because salary cap circumvention is likely going to be a way that teams are going to try to break parity, and we all know how the NHL loves parity. If the worst team in the league isn't 2 goals behind the best team in the league at some point in the game, aside from like when the second goal is scored, then they have failed, apparently.
Have you watched a bunch of Buffalo this season?
Well, Buffalo's a special case.
Senators, New Jersey. Yeah.
But you get my point.
Nope.
The league actively encourages parity. They think it's a good thing. They tout it as one of the reasons that their league is so good. I think that there's maybe a little bit of something to that for sure. I don't think that they're completely off base. I think that overall the salary cap is a good thing. I think that sports that don't have salary caps are not as enjoyable for me personally as sports that do. Because I do like the playing field to be more even than not. And I think that salary cap circumvention, like the Tampa Bay Lightning are doing, gives them an unfair advantage that, honestly, I hope they just lose in the first round again, because that would be very funny.
It's going to be the Avs that lose in the first round.
I don't even think that's possible.
I'm sure Tampa felt similarly.
Yes, but Matt Duchene, Artemi Panarin, and Sergei Bobrovsky.
Oh, Artemi Panarin? You mean Mr. Poopy Pants? I don't know. I don't think the boys know this story, but the coach for the Columbus Blue Jackets, John Tortorella, was asked about why his player Artemi Panarin was out, and he was like, he pooped his pants and wasn't feeling good, so we didn't have him play.
Oh.
This is not an exaggeration.
See, I more loved the fact that he got more mad at the person asking him that question. So he was like, "You want me to tell you exactly what happened? Here it is."
He shitted his pants.
He was literally airing Artemi Panarin's dirty laundry. So that's the show for the week.
Nice one. That was special. Did they give out Nobel Peace Prizes for humor?
Yeah. Truly a great moment in podcast history. Yeah, like seriously though. I don't really have much more. So do you, Mr. Jake, or Mr. Fifth member of this here crew, have any
Okay,
hockey
he can't be the fifth member. We have to call our fans that.
When we start our own podcasting league, we're immediately going to retire the number 5 for the fifth member.
All of the fans will be my fifth member.
Yeah, all of the fans. You will have your numbers hanging in the rafter.
I was gonna ask, can I have my number hanged in the rafters immediately?
Hanged like with a noose? Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, do we have any more pressing hockey news or hockey things that need to be taken care of? So I will take extended silence as a no. So yeah, we will be back next week. Like I said, we likely will not have a lot to talk about as far as the Avalanche go. But we'll have some league news.
We'll just force them to watch Carolina games to make up for the Avs games that are being missed.
Oh, fair enough. We'll just break down every Carolina game we watch.
Nope.
Yes.
What?
Dude, next one is tomorrow, 7 your time. Carolina versus the Lightning. That might
Oh,
actually
that
be
would
a good
actually
one.
be a good game. You guys want to watch Carolina versus the Lightning?
Sure.
Perhaps.
Those are two heavy hitters.
You can watch Mr. Svechnikov on ice for the first time. But yeah, him, Teravainen, they have a good team.
They do.
I'm not going to make you a big graph for all the players. But I would say it would be a good game. And we can root against the evil Lightning.
The people who are
The
circumventing.
evil Lightning.
Yeah, they're the people that are circumventing this
Yeah.
salary cap. They are the bad guy.
Yeah.
They're also the most recent cup winner, so you just have to flame them.
Fair enough.
Yeah. You are not allowed to like the team that won the cup unless it was the Avalanche.
Yeah, only the Avalanche.
That's the only exception. Take note, sports fans. So yeah. Now that you heard
Alright.
us make our private plans public,
Huh, what does the word private mean?
yeah. If you want to contact the show, you can find us on Twitter at GritHockeyCast. It's going to be the best way to find us, talk to us. We're pretty active there. If you want to follow me personally, don't. It's at Kumodere, Kumodere. And Jake, you are...
You already know who it is.
That's right.
Corey.
Anime is leaders.
Yes. See,
I'm going to make the
You
other
heard it
guys
here,
plug it
folks,
since they
from
don't
a-
plug themselves.
From one Jake. Anime is leaders. Twitter at anime as leaders.
You can see plastic with tits and lots of hockey clips. It's good stuff.
You're a poet and you didn't even know it, bud.
Rap God.
Your next plugin needs to be done by the Discord text to speech.
That would be...
Really wish Dakota kept that in the episode last week.
No. 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 So yeah. Thank you guys for hanging out with us this week. We'll see you next week.
Dr. Sleepyhands said subscribe to Anime as Leaders on Pornhub.com.
Enjoy the editing, Dakota. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.